Hey, listen, I have this idea, this thought or a concept that I've been thinking about. It's not fully baked and it may be too early to even discuss about it. But since I've been thinking about it quite a bit, I thought I'll share it with you and maybe you can help me to get it better formulated. Now, as a segue to this topic, let's take a look at a few pictures that I've taken. Now, if I ask you what were those pictures, it would probably be pretty easy for you to explain them verbally to me. Like, there's a car. Some of you might even be able to tell it's a Range Rover. I think it might be actually a serious one. There's a sheep. There's a lighthouse. There's a lawnmower. By the way, I found this kind of interesting picture because it looks like there's an electrical power going to the lawnmower, and I thought that was hilarious. Hey, so easily recognizable things, very little room for ambiguity. Nothing wrong with that. Excellent or clear pictures, should I say. Now, Luke called me early December. Luke is the guy who sent me this awesome lens for my Kiev and another lens. This is the Olympic Sonar. I made a video about these lenses and Luke's work. I put the link somewhere in the description page. I also put the link to Luke's Instagram page. I consider Luke as a friend. We talk every now and then. We never met, only digitally. Luke is living a busy life with kids and a family. And he's an interesting fellow. He's also a photographer and prints a lot of his prints. So Luke calls me, we talk about things, and Luke wanted to discuss especially about pinhole photography. And I've been using my pinhole quite a bit, and Luke seemed to be interested in getting into pinholing too. So what are pinhole pictures? I mean, they are pictures taken with this kind of a primitive box without a lens, just a tiny hole here. Once again, I made a video about it, so I put some links to the description page. But with a pinhole camera, you can take pictures like this. So then Luke wanted to talk about the pinhole photography and the process and pick my brains a little bit about what do I think about and what are my advices. Not that I'm necessarily qualified to give any advice, but it hasn't stopped me earlier to voice my opinions. Like maybe my rules with pinhole camera is that try to get as narrow pinhole camera as you can get, so then you get wide angle pictures. It's the width of the camera that defines how wide your pictures are, and I like wide. Don't go smaller than 4x5 sheet film. Shoot bold objects, things that are heavy, significant. Pinhole pictures are always a bit fuzzy. And if you take pictures with a lot of nuances and the story of your picture is those nuances, there's not much to see because everything is blurry. So those are, take bold pictures. And then last but not least, actually, since pinhole camera provides an endless depth of field, you can put it into interesting places, on the ground, under some grass, places that you wouldn't position another camera. Those were some of my guidances. I don't know what Luke got out of those, and I haven't spoken to him after that. Did he really get into pinholing? But I hope he did. He's a good photographer, so I would be interested in seeing his work. So then, as we discussed, Luke started to talk about something else too. Like he said that he would like to embrace imperfections in his work. Like not only tolerate, but embrace them. Which I totally related, and I've been struggling, that has also been my aim, to understand what kind of imperfections are actually good, not bad, and how to embrace them. Then we started to talk about memory. Like Luke used this comparison that it's like a fading memory. You get a distant memory about something, you don't remember it any more accurately. So how can you reflect that in your photograph? Now the earlier pictures I showed to you when we, in the beginning of this video, they are pretty accurate. There's no fading happening there. It's a Range Rover. There's no ambiguity. But how could you create something that is not so picture perfect, so clear, but has this fading memory aspects? So we discussed about that, and I found it interesting. I actually started to study a little bit about memory after that, and here's a little bit of brain surgery to you. The more science learns about memory, the less we actually seem to know about it. It's still a big mystery. How do we store memories? When we see something, when we experience something, that memory goes through a process that is called a consolidation, where the information is stabilized and integrated into existing knowledge. This process involves the hippocampus, a region deep within the brain associated with learning and memory. Pretty cool stuff. So we are not just storing things as we see and experience them. Unlike storing a document on our computer drive or a picture into our phone, our memory works in a much more mysterious ways. And when we store memories, the older memories get distracted. And the older the memories are, the more they start to fade away. And each new layer of experiences and memories get contaminated, or contaminate old memories, let's put it this way. And then when you get new experience, those previous ones get contaminated or influenced by these new memories. And that's still a bit of a mystery to science. But how do you see that that's actually happening? So if you try to think about something that happened a long time ago, it's harder to remember and it's more vague. It's almost like it's a bit fuzzy. I believe we all have that experience. If I try to get from my hard drive a document that I stored in late 90s, if I find the software that can still read that document, it's pretty clear. There's no ambiguity what the document is all about. It's still all there. But our memory doesn't work like that. It doesn't mean that everything gets faded away. Like, you can still accurately remember the name of the town where you grew up. But maybe the sunsets that you saw when growing up are now contaminated or influenced by the later sunsets. And now you have created this concept of sunsets that is the blend of all the sunsets. Are you following me? If we would store, that's what the scientists say, if we would store all our memories as a computer does, bit by bit, it would be too overwhelming through our lifetime. Just like stack up memories on top of each other without them sort of getting merged together. We couldn't handle that memory. We couldn't create structures that are so necessarily for our thinking process and for us as human beings. I find that extremely fascinating. So, discussing with Luke, this started to sort of I started to think about this. What does that mean? What does it mean in photography? This is a photography channel after all, not the brain surgery channel. Fading memories, getting a bit distance, and actually faded memories are imperfect. They are not accurate representations of the thing or happening or the view. But they are more useful, they are more impactful for us because they are integrated with everything else. So as I was thinking about it and really pondering the relationship with photography, by the way, a lot of people would say this is absolutely insane. This probably is insane, but if you are still here, please follow to the end. I'm gonna show you one more picture in a minute. So anyway, so I was thinking about it, and then I was working once again with one of my favorite cameras, which is this monster Graflex Speed Graphics, where I put a condenser, enlarger condenser lens attached to this. I made a video about this too. I put links to the description page if you are interested in this. I've been using this more than I ever thought, because this is, if any camera is a dream maker, is a camera that adds imperfections to my pictures, this would be the one. And this has some dream-like qualities. So now, going as far away from those picture-perfect pictures that I showed you in the beginning, let's go to another extreme. And I created a picture with this one that has multiple layers of, let's say, memories. And I don't know how it works for you, but to me, I was surprised how powerful it is. Maybe because I can see a lot of things there that are relevant to me. First of all, it's taken right here, looking that way. This is our dining room, so this is where our family gathers on a daily basis. So it has that very close relationship to everyday life. And then in the other extreme, there's a picture of my dad, who passed away about 1.5 years ago, and whose memories, like my picture of him, is also fading away, It's not a bad thing, it's just like what I remember about him is almost getting stronger and more integrated to my life and my thinking process. But it's kind of fading away. So he is in that picture also. You might probably not even recognize him, but he's in the other room on the wall as a picture. So this has multiple layers like our memory. And this is what I wanted to share with you. As you can see, this is all over the place. But there are some ingredients that fascinate me greatly. Like, how can you create layered photographs that are not one-dimensional, but have this depth? One memory, one chunk of memory, one picture in this case. Hey, I'll show the picture to you, but before that, thanks for watching. Next time something else. Here's the pitch.